10 seconds and we're going to get started. We got finished on time.
Yeah.
Nothing else, finish on time.
Good.
Okay. We're going. We're going, Prihoda?
Yep.
All right.
I think we're good.
Welcome everybody. If you're not intended to be in session 4185 for the Open Mainframe project, you're in the wrong room. If you are in the right room. First things first, happy birthday, Open Mainframe project, celebrating a decade in existence.
Woo! Woo!
Kickoff project, kickoff session, I should say. I'm Sakach, my colleague Prihoda. We are Open Mainframe project ambassadors, and we are thrilled to be with you here today at Tech Exchange. We're going to be talking a little bit about Zowe and Ansible and the benefits it might be able to bring to software management in particular. So we've got a number of topics we're going to talk about. But first things first, we're going to make sure that you all understand, and we all understand, the problem that we're trying to solve. So that's our 10-minute late. Then we're going to talk about how we want to shift that paradigm, given the technology that's available today and the leaps and bounds that we've made with mainframe. We want to be able to extend that to other areas of mainframe tasks and processes. Then we're going to share with you what could be in reality. We'll talk about and we'll actually show you what we're developing and what we've developed to date. And then we'll give you an opportunity to join in on it and help us validate and move forward with this direction. Before we do go any further, I think, Jan, you did this. You asked AI to generate a mainframe systems program. This is the photograph that came up. Can you relate? Maybe. Okay. How many of you install software? Okay, let's try that again. How many of you have mobile phones?
Yeah.
How many of you install software on your mobile phone? All of you, right? Yes, of course. We do it all the time. And how do you do it? Click of a button. How about mainframe software? A little different. A little different, right? Takes time. Let's talk specifically about applying maintenance and some of the frustrations you might experience with applying maintenance. Are you able to apply maintenance as often as you need to? Are you able to apply maintenance without injecting any type of manual effort? No. No. Are you able to keep up with maintenance? Not easy. Are you able to apply maintenance as quickly as your management team would like you to apply maintenance? No. I would argue you can relate. So, what are we trying to do? We are on a mission to take advantage of some of the latest and greatest technologies. And what we're trying to do is the same thing that we did with Zowe. We're trying to make something that's not easy, that's somewhat manual, and possibly could be automated, simpler by taking advantage of some of the open technologies, open source, open standards, and technologies that allow for interaction with mainframe, and ultimately to make it simple to maintain software and ultimately deploy it on the mainframe. With the goal of being as simple as that push of a button that you use on your cell phone, knowing that more than likely we're not going to get there, but we're gonna be better than where we're at. So open, simple, familiar. So what are some of the things we need to think about when we go on this journey to shift the paradigm? Is going from what we're doing today to how we install software on our cell phone is quite different. So some of the tenets that we looked at were, well, it can't be centric to mainframe because I think we all know and understand, despite the fact that we've probably been in mainframe for a long time, that mainframe can be perceived as unique. It was the first platform to be introduced, first compute platform to be introduced into the industry. It's been around for a long time. It is somewhat unique. But regardless of that, whatever it is that we bring forward shouldn't be unique. Should be able to execute it as often as we need to keep up with maintenance. That's what happens on our cell phones. That's why we always have access to the latest and greatest, and we're never really running behind on mobile apps. Especially on mainframe, that's got to be true going forward because now more than ever, there's new techniques and technologies getting thrown at us almost on a daily basis. And that's an exaggeration, but it's coming at us quite quickly, much more so than it had done in the past. Of course, we want it automated because automated means guarantee, it's almost guaranteed that you're doing the right thing at the right time. Eliminate those manual tasks wherever possible. Another important point is we're talking about mainframe software. So similar to the fact that we have iOS and we have Android, imagine if every app, depending upon who produced that app, required you to install it differently. That would change the game on how well you can maintain the software on your mobile device. And we recognize that to be true with mainframe software as well. If the vendors aren't in line and we do not develop an industry standard, then we're not going to help all of you. And we understand that and we know that and we're taking that into consideration with this solution. Of course, it's got to be scalable. How many of you support one LPAR? 0. Some of us support hundreds, right? Hundreds of LPARs. And many of us are somewhere in between. So scalability is very important as well. And last but not least, even though we're talking about open, simple, familiar, it's got to be supported. We can't ask our customers to support the solution that we bring forward to help make your lives easier. You need somebody to partner with, you need somebody you can rely on to ensure that whatever the solution is, that you've got a partner in troubleshooting an issue that you may have. Good news. We've got an idea, and we validated it with several customers.
So let me first explain what the idea in general is. But first, let's set the context. I believe all of you in some kind of environments are doing exactly the same. You are getting your maintenance from a vendor through some distribution channels like portable software instances or ETF downloads, receive order preferably, right? By the way, who is using receive order here? Just you, okay. So then you are having some kind of centralized, we are calling it as a seed system, a centralized location, LPARs, sandboxes, where you are preparing all the maintenance. You are testing it, you are validating whether it's working properly as you're expecting, cross applications and cross platform integrations properly, and so on. From that environment, you are moving the maintenance when maintenance window occurs to the target systems. It could be like monthly, yearly. In distributed platforms, they are doing this almost every minute or 10 minutes. Amazon is quite good in it. On mainframe, it's different. And the reason why it's different is that the maintenance is very complex. How many of you are rolling maintenance more than, let's say, monthly? Just very few. Quarterly? And yearly? And just for my curiosity, what's the biggest biggest issue when you are doing the yearly maintenance? Is it because of your processes, or the maintenance is very difficult, or something else? Can you just shout?
Management and SLAs, customer agreements. Management and customer agreements.
Please.
Management and customer agreements.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yep, yes. So for us, we have to have all of our software, again, it's part of our mandate, all of our software, all of our VM software to be updated all at the same time. So we have our big bang approach, so every single mainframe IBM software gets updated at the same time.
Someone else? Okay, but so many reasons why it's very difficult to do it more often. Is there anything that can be done easier? Is there anything that we as vendors can improve in that process? We believe through validations that we can find few ways or few options how we can improve the process. And this is where we will be focusing today, which is the automation itself, and then more data resolution. Like we expect, and through the validations we found out that you are usually having some kind of automation between the seed or sandbox or whatever environment you have to the target platforms. It could be manual or semi-manual, it could be automated fully. It really depends on you. You can drive it through JCLs, threads, additional platforms, whatever. We will be talking like under the hood about Ansible here, because Ansible is very popular nowadays in many environments, including Mainframe finally. And we believe that this platform would enable us as a community, Mainframe community, the simplification of the whole processes. However, our solution is not focused on particular platform. That's the reason why we are talking here about an automation platform here, not specifically about Ansible. So we did a lot of experiments in our lab, and we discovered a few things. Again, it was about our products, but we know from the validations that it's not just about Broadcom products. It's like industry-wide issue. We have so many whole data that are written in a way that is very difficult to automate. It's because of the language, how it's written, because of the complexity of the products, because of the misuse of reason ID, so it's difficult to do the proper triage immediately, and so on. Maybe you can find additional reasons and additional comments to this. So those actions that are not standardized or that are not written in a way that can be immediately transferred or translated into some kind of automation script, they are very difficult to automate. If you would like to do it, you need to read it manually, then you need to create some kind of script, either JCLs, Ansible playbooks, whatever else, and then you need to validate it and run it, and at the end, drive the automation from that place. So what we are trying to change here now is, we are still believing that the distribution channel as receive order or downloads into the support portals of vendors, PTS or PSWIs, and doing the work on the seed system is something what is like must, mandatory. But there is something new what we believe could be done differently or what we can improve. And that's here, the automation. The automation and the artifacts needed for that automation. What is it? First, we are here in Open Mainframe project, right? So Zowe CI plugin is one of the artifacts. I will show it in the next minutes. Why it's important and how we believe it could be used for the purpose that we are presenting here. And then automation playbooks. Again, terminology is coming from Ansible. In Ansible, you have the playbooks that are basically simple scripts or simple textual representation of the automation for Ansible. And when you run it, basically the automation is done. The playbooks are very simple to understand, to read, and to, of course, create. To simplify the creation, the Zowe CLI plugin could generate some outputs. Again, I mentioned that we are planning to do it platform agnostic. What does it mean? The plugin that I will show can now produce Zowe or Ansible playbooks, or better say snippets, but we believe it should be more universal. So in the future, we will be looking into more platforms and preferably tools or languages. JCL is one of them. And now let me show the plugin. I'm not brave as the guys this morning at the AI sessions to do it live, so I have just screenshots, but I believe for this purpose it's enough. So what we did, we developed a Zowe CLI plugin, I would say POC. If you are not familiar with the Zowe CLI, it's a CLI command line interface to talk or for interaction with mainframe in a form that is very well known to distributed people, and it allows you to work with mainframe as with any other platform. You can work with jobs, data sets, whatever is available. And one of the benefits is that it's also very pluggable. So you can create your own plugin, put it into the Zowe CLI, and then use the benefits that are already there, built by the community. For us, the benefits are simple. We didn't need to solve all the issues that are quite common if you are communicating to the REST APIs, authorization, authentication, everything else is there done by Zowe CLI already, so we didn't need to start from the scratch. Our plugin can do currently these 3 things, which are basically like the basics that we believe is needed for the better whole data triage. Or, to be fair, we believed. I will explain why not. We are able to compare whole data in the PTFs and show what's the difference, and also show what the difference in case they are not exactly the same, but partially they still is. They are. We can find some automation in the whole data. So we are able to read the text, find what could be automated, and at the end we are also able to generate Ansible playbook, or better say playbook snippets. So now let me show this following slide, or explain what's here. What we are doing here is quite simple. We are comparing raw data for this particular product. And now let me explain why I believe just simple parsing of the text and do some basic actions on top of it, it's not enough. Let's first look here. In this first section, let's say those 10 PTS are containing exactly the same whole data action. It's from reason ID Dynet. And you can probably see that this whole data here are useless. You know that you need to apply the PTF, right? This is not needed to be repeated here. And you probably know that you need to restart the product. However, this shouldn't be here. So first observation from our lab is our whole data needs to be rewritten and properly aligned with the reason IDs. And we should focus only on whole data that are really needed for that particular product, not some jobbers and characters that are useless here. Let's look into another group. Let's say those 20 PTFs are containing those 2 actions: LLA refresh if required, and restart the product. Okay, fine, why not? But same product, 2 different PTFs, and they are containing very simple and again almost the same action. Perform an LLA refresh if applicable, and restart auditor session. Do you see? Those three groups are basically talking almost about the same, except the first one where the LLA refresh is not presented. But how it's written, it's very difficult to automatically generate anything from it. We tried and we failed.
And this is from the same vendor.
Exactly, and that's just for one vendor and one product. Now imagine how non-standard whole data across multiple products in one vendor portfolio are, right? So we are calling restart product. Someone else could say recycle product. Maybe other could say and now work or submit this command to restart the task, something like that. And now imagine that you need to do it for I don't know how many products, hundreds of products, and you need to read them one by one and understand what you should do. And we believe this is something what we as a vendors could immediately improve. This is the easiest thing that we can improve for you. to remove the redundancy, standardize across the language layer, and also the actions itself. Why? Because when the standardized whole data sections will be here, or would be here, we can easily automate. This is what we are doing basically here. We tried to match the text with the Ansible roles. Ansible role is basically some kind of script that you can call to repeat the action multiple times. It's some kind of like subprogram or JCL in your library, something like that. And we try to match the actions against those subscripts, Ansible roles. And the reason why I said we failed is in the fact that LLA refresh if required and perform and LLA refresh if applicable are not, for the automation they are not the same. For you as a humans, it's super easy to read them, understand, and you immediately know what to do. The automation would need to solve all these variations, all these differences. We tried to use some kind of basic, small, local running language model, I would rather say some machine learning library, and it didn't work for us at all. The input, and again, if you attended the sessions earlier today, the partner track, they were discussing there that if you put the rubbish in the training data in the input, then you can't expect anything better than again the rubbish, regardless how powerful model you have, how many iterations you will put there. All the time you will get the rubbish.
You didn't use the term rubbish though. Right?
Yeah, they have the nice emoji. Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
Stuff. Yeah.
Brown stuff. Okay, so we decided to take a totally different approach. We are now looking into a solution where we of course, we still want to change the language in the human-friendly description of the whole data. However, we are also in parallel working on a solution that would allow us to automatically generate parsable content. What I mean by parsable content. Here I have a description of these whole data actions. So let me quickly go one by one. First, or maybe, yeah. First action is create USS directory where ZFS should be mounted. That's for the humans, super easy, right? You know what to do. And if you don't, then you can probably refer to some manual or internal guidelines, whatever. But for the automation, we have something else here. We have here action, issue shell command, and command line tool or USS command mkdir and the location. Any question? No, okay, sorry. Issue shell command and mkdir parameter and the location in this curly brackets. Next one is mount ZFS on new directory. So again, simple definition: mount file system from where to where, from where to where, and the final state. Again, for the automation, it's very simple to parse this and somehow process it, and so on and so on. Next step is change the directory to the location. So again, USS command cd and some variables, and so on and so on. Why we believe this is better? Because of during the polishing the whole data in our internal databases for the product, we will be able to easily attach the automation or description of the automation to that action. So you will read this, and at the end you can process this as you wish. Again, we are trying to be automation platform agnostic. Why? Because of it's your choice what platform you will use. Ansible, your own automation, GCLs, I don't know, Jenkins probably can be used as well, and so on. We are not trying to prescribe anything that you would need to pay for. We are just offering the different shape of the data that would allow you to automate what you need to automate. And at the end, you will have here the output that is basically possible to take it, copy it, and paste it into Ansible playbook and run it. And this is Ansible playbook. This is in human-friendly form written the automation that Ansible can read and run on the target system. And now, why we are having here those curly brackets with variables? Ansible is very popular because of something, what is called infrastructure as code. What does it mean? You are describing your infrastructure by the code. And by the code, I mean those variables are somewhere defined. It's up to you where. Usually it's GitHub, but technically you can use any other repository that you would like to. And you will do this just once. Only once you will describe that this particular LPAR should have this directory set to whatever, /u/ and the directory itself. Why it's important? Because you do this just once, and whenever you run this automation script again, those variables will be replaced by the final location, and then you don't need to do it over and over and over. All these things are already written in the definition of the environment, of the platform. You can have it for different systems differently. Every LPAR could have this variable, different. However, from the automation perspective, you will run the same automation Ansible playbook or JCLs or whatever else all the time. It will be all the time the same. You don't need to change it. If we will be able to deliver you this JSON, then you can take it, parse it by your own, or use our Zowe CLI plugin to do it, and take the output and immediately run it against your environment. By immediately, I mean, of course, not just blindly run it, after some verification and testing, of course, but at the end, you will do this just once from the perspective of the automation, and your value will be in the observing whether the output from the CLI and for the automation is valid. You can rely on the fact that what is in the variable was already proven and it's working for you, and also from our vendor perspective, you can rely on the prescription of the automation there. Because again, we are trying to automate internally the processes that every change in the human-friendly description, will be reflected in the automation. It's not easy. We are not saying it will be here tomorrow, but at the end, we believe that almost every product, and especially when the automation for the maintenance is quite standardized, I mean standardized that it's the same, and not every PTF has 2 pages of commands that you need to run, which is not the case, to be fair, at least for our products. Then you can simplify the maintenance process, I would say, quite a lot. You wouldn't need to read every PTF one by one. First, you will do the whole data triage. You will see that those 20 PTFs contain exactly the same. And the content of the, what does it mean exactly the same, would be written in the JSON. So you can just run it once on the already tested and prescribed environment, again, infrastructure as code. And at the end, you can very significantly decrease time from the PTF is produced by us to when it's running on Mainframe. I know that many of you are doing the regular IPLs, and during the IPLs you are applying the maintenance, and so many whole data are not needed. That's true. But nowadays, and it will be even, I don't want to say worse, but let's say more important and significant, is the security. So as we are producing more and more products that are somehow relying on distributed components, we know that those components are also easily scannable for vulnerabilities. So we will be producing more and more PTFs that will require your attention because of there is some those dependency, hypers, seconds, and all these things. And I expect that you are not applying security PTFs just once per year, probably not. And And this is exactly where this solution might be very helpful, because you already have the environment described by the infrastructure as code, and then you just review the automation for that particular PTF, and you can run it next day. And because of the automation, it doesn't matter whether we are running this against 1 LPAR or 200 of LPARs. All the automation will be all the time same.
Makes sense?
Will those scripts be included in the PTFs?
yes, this is what we are planning to the JSON. We plan to include it in the BTF, as we probably think about the new reason ID section, something like automation or whatever, maybe JSON. But there will be new section saying exactly this.
And that's produced by the vendor.
Yes.
That's not something that you guys have to worry about. So the question was, will the scripts be included in the PTF? And the answer is yes.
Any other question?
I'm assuming you'll have a whole ecosystem built around this in the SMPE to process it, like, you know, maybe script library or script target libraries that usually get deployed into.
Yeah. Where is it? Here. These roles.
Yeah.
This is something what we plan to share with all mainframe community. So whenever we will say something like, I don't know, restart the started task, or whether say, I don't know, mount new file system, then for mounting, this action will be available to everyone to use. And we will do it as a vendor, not you. Of course, if you would like to rewrite this function, you can, but again, it can be easily callable from this automation. So, this is a feedback from our validation customer. If you would like to play with the Zowe CLI plugin, it's still POC and we are slowly working on it. Let us know and we can share it. We can share it with at least Broadcom customers. Maybe we can also discuss how to do it for the whole community. But definitely we are looking for feedback from you.
And how many of you have played with Zowe CLI? Okay.
Good.
So you're ready?
So let me quickly wrap this up. So number one, number two, and number one and number two are the same. Number three is about how you will be using the content that we just described, the JSON and the Zowe CLI plugin. You will be producing Ansible playbooks and using standardized Ansible roles. This is the library of the functions that you asked for. And you will be loading this into a platform. Again, we are talking here about Ansible, but in theory you can use whatever you want. At the end, you will run the maintenance as usual. From the runtime environment, you are distributing the runtime environments or runtime packages into the target systems. And when the maintenance window occurs, you will run the automation and apply the maintenance across all your LPARs that you are managing. So, quickly summarize this. Seed system installation, this is where we don't plan to do any changes. You need to go to the BTS, to the whole data, do the review, and of course test it, validate it, and so on. But what's new is the whole data automation review. You will review what's inside the whole data. You will review the automation itself, and if and when the automation will be ready, you can continue to the next step. So runtime deployment, this is something what we are primarily not focusing on. We believe that you already have some infrastructure or automation. If not, Ansible is very popular, so I think you can use Ansible to drive the deployment as well. And at the end, the target system will be updated by the automation that you reviewed in the second step. And at the end, maintenance is applied, your software instance is secured and updated as much as possible.
So the big takeaway for all of you here and for us is that we're working on a better way, an automated way to help you manage your whole data and ultimately apply maintenance as often and in a more efficient, effective manner that you do it today. The bigger picture goes beyond that, and that's what we're showing here. And ultimately, we expect that bigger picture to result in a better experience for all systems programmers. So here's what that looks like. Remember the first one. We definitely need your help to get there. And that's the way forward. The way forward is for all of you to interact with us and the other vendors to ensure that we get it right. We're gonna make mistakes, sure. Everybody does along the way. And the only way we're gonna get it right is through constant interaction with all of you. And that means that there's opportunities. Yes, as Jan mentioned, we have spoken to several of our customers. This is why we landed where we landed today, because we wanted to take it much further. But we have customers, in a recent conversation we had, they told us, the best possible thing you can do for me today is to address that whole data and give me JCL. That will go a long way. And so we're absolutely looking for any of you who are interested, I see you nodding your head, in working with us to iterate on this and get it to a point where you all agree you've tackled the whole data situation and improved it for us. We do understand that, again, this has to be an industry standard. And so you have Broadcom products, you have IBM products, you have other vendor products. And of course, we participate in what's called the ISV community, but there's something specific to software management, I thought. There's a guild and what have you out there. Yes, we're members of that.
Yes, we'll do.
And we can only go so far. And the reason why I'm sharing this with all of you is because nobody can put pressure on a vendor like their customers. So I'm asking all of you to help us move this forward. If you haven't had a discussion with your vendor when it comes to software maintenance and software install, please do, and certainly reach out to us. Question?
Yeah, so IBM was pushing that this software management would be the standard, right, that you guys are trying to implement, would be through the ZOSMF workflows and the ZOSMF software management, right? How does this interact with
Yes.
ZOSMF software management?
Good question. So I'm just going to repeat the question. Essentially, what you're asking is ZOSMF is supposed to be, and we're headed towards the industry standard for software management. How does this particular effort interact with?
Do they combine, or they are different?
Well, with the ZOSMF standard.
Thank you for the question. It, I think, plays well together. The first part is still done to the ZOSMF, the portable software instances, the PTF software update page or plugin in ZOSMF. This is still applicable for this solution. We are discussing here something what is just small step next, which is how you would like to prepare the automation for whole data resolution. And this is something what is not possible to do it now, at least now in ZOSMF. And we believe this solution is the answer. So in fact, it works together. It's not contradictory, or we are denying the fact that last 10 years we were working on portable software instances and ZOSMF workflows. All these things are still applicable, but if you would like to done it for 200 LBARs in the same time, this is the answer. Okay? And by the way, we have Marna here, so if you would like to tell more about
Yeah,
this.
so I think this does fit in very nicely together because the usage of Ansible to do the service installation, we're doing that today with software update. So when you install your PTFs, you can do them in Ansible if you want, and then you have to deal with the hold actions, which is what John's got, so it's very complementary, very consistent.
Short answer, very complimentary. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, other questions? What? One more?
Do you still need to run Zoe on the host or for this solution? Or?
No, Zoe is not needed to be available on the target system, target host, LBAR, minis, virtual environment. The Zoe CLI is running on your desktop. This is something what you will do on your laptop, regardless it's macOS, Windows, Linux, you will run it there, not on the target system, on the mainframe. On the mainframe, you will, that's probably more complex than just answering in a minute, but on target system, the Ansible itself will take care about the automation. The Ansible will do the work. Whether say the whole Ansible ecosystem, you can run it by the open source, or you can run the open source version, AWX, or you can run the full Red Hat AAP, which is running on distributed part of the environment. And again, it's just saying mainframe, hey, do this, do that, and Zowe server is not needed to be running on the target system.
So what kind of API you use?
What kind of API? For the whole data comparison, we are not using any API, but to be able to acquire whole data from the BTS, we are using jobs API of ZOSMF, which is implemented by the Zowe CLI core. This is something that is coming to us out of the box, and by the way, that was one of the reasons why we choose to use Zowe, or better say Zowe CLI, as the platform for this plugin development, because all the desktop versus mainframe communication was solved by the community already.
Okay, we do have to wrap up because we have no time in between sessions, but please reach out to Jan and I for any other questions if you're interested in pursuing this technology and being a validation partner. That would be fantastic. Before we close, a couple things we want to mention in addition to us being a part of the Open Mainframe project. There are many, many more projects in Open Mainframe. If you're involved with the Open Mainframe project at all, or if you just want to be a part of the 10-year celebration, please consider signing the birthday card. It's in the back. We welcome your signature and your well wishes for Open Mainframe project, and maybe you can even share how it's made a difference in your life. That would be fantastic. What else, Fernando? Open Mainframe project. Our contact information here will also be here through Thursday, so if you want to meet up with us at any point in time, further the conversation, ask a question, please don't hesitate. We are here for all of you, and I thank you for filling this room and coming to our session. I hope you found it valuable.
Feel free to grab some stickers at the back once you sign it.
And there's a Zowe